Gundam.tk presents Unicorn Gundam. Hey everybody, it's Robert184. Welcome back, and please check out the previous parts of the review where you can see the Unicorn Gundam in its Unicorn mode. But now it's time to transform it into Destroy mode. Bandai tells you in the manual to take everything apart before transforming it, and I couldn't agree more. Some of the things you have to be careful with, though, is that when you're detaching the waist from the torso, is that you might just pull out this section instead of the whole thing, because this is in there really, really tight. And maybe I'll just leave it like that, because, yeah, I'm only making it worse. Anybody want to do the transformation sound from Transformers? I think it's best to start with the easy parts first, so first what you'll do is just split out and make the X behind the shield, and it was already a pretty cool looking shield, but by the time we extend this, that is really one of the coolest looking Gundam shields I think ever made. On the backpack, you swing the beam sabers up, swing them up, swing them around, and put them up into place, and then you swing open this part, and then simply pull out the sides of the jets to reveal a fair amount of psycho frame underneath, which is looking pretty cool. No problems at all with the arm transformation. You just simply pull out the wrist, although that can be a little bit tight, and once you've done that, you pull this part out, revealing a fair bit, and it also frees up the beam saber to swing forward, which it couldn't do in Unicorn mode. As for the shoulders, remember that I broke apart doing this a little bit earlier, so be careful. What you're supposed to do is pop this up, and once you do that, you swing this part up like this, and then swing this part down below, and it should somehow vaguely lock into place if you fiddle with it, and then it actually stays fairly well. The waist transformation begins with something that's a little bit tough. You're actually supposed to pop these hips out. You can see that there's a small panel there that came out here, but that's really hard to do actually, so you're probably going to want to pull off most of the skirt armor to get at it. On the back of the skirt, you're supposed to have this part which was supposed to be out, and then you plug that in as much as possible. Then just open up these panels to reveal thrusters, and on the side skirts, just slide these down. It's a little bit hard to see, but at the back you can see there's a pin there and a hole, so when you push this down, you're supposed to get that to lock into place around those pins, which are on both sides. And once you get it in there just right, these hips that you popped out are now locked firmly into place. For the front skirt, I recommend using a toothpick or something after you've just taken it off to push this down and around. So once you've popped it out from the bottom position and locked it in at the top, you're going to get this kind of effect, which looks really cool on the front. And last, you're going to pull this part down and pull this part up. No comment. On the back of the chest you have a panel here that you lift up, and it has two slots inside depending on where you position this. And what you've got to do then is pull the upper body up from the lower body without pulling it too far. But the really hard part is that you're going to have to be able to pull out on both of these and pop out both shoulders to the left and right. And this part of the transformation is a huge pain, and it makes me never want to transform it again. But once you do that, you're able to open up these front vents on the front and pop these up. And flipping these up is not as easy as it sounds, so Bandai even tells you to use a toothpick or a knife or something. You've really got to gouge it in there to pop this up. And even though transforming the chest and waist makes me never want to transform this thing again, you can't argue that the results are pretty cool looking. I don't know why, but this sort of reminds me of something. Now, the legs too, I wish all of the transformations on this Unicorn Gundam were this easy. But basically you open this up, slide it up, which will extend the thighs, and then just push it in and lock it into place, revealing a fair amount of cool looking psycho frame. Next up at the bottom, you open up two of these pins that are holding it in place, that are holding the feet in place here, off to the side, and when you do that, you're able to pop down the foot, and you can see that there's two holes there, so then you just lock it into the higher position, revealing a small amount, but still cool looking inner frame. The knee transformation is the second most annoying part of this Gundam, so you're going to pull this forward, pull this, and push this down. It should open up like this, and then from inside, this pink part is going to extend forward and attach onto these two tiny little pegs. Now you can see that this pink part here slides very easily. Now the problem is that you have to get this in a fairly tight pinch, and of course when you do that, you just push it inside. And I've tried a whole bunch of different things, but I'm just going to give up on this for now. But you open up the back thrusters, put in a toothpick, try to keep this thing out while pushing this down on this part that falls in too easily. So really poor engineering here. Next, transforming the feet from this to this has a fair number of steps. The first thing you do is take the front of the foot and slide this up and lock it into place there, and then bend the foot down at the bottom. Then you're going to do a sort of a swap here where you slide this down and then put this part up into place and lock it around this part. With that up and out of the way, then you slide the heel down, and once you've done that, you straighten out the foot. To transform the head, the last part, you actually do a little bit of pop and play and pop off both cheeks. And then once you've done that, you slide the mouth guard down, you bring up the head to reveal the face inside. Then I suggest using a toothpick or something to jam in there, and you slide the face forward and then pop up the chin and then put this down into place. Once you've slid the head all the way forward, actually sliding it down past this chin guard is actually pretty difficult, so you might want to help it along again. And when you took the cheek plates off from the Unicorn mode, you're actually just going to flip them around and put them on like this, making a very Gundam looking head. And finally, once you've got it on the head, it's time to open up the V antennas and get a head that actually looks like it belongs on a Gundam shelf. So that transformation sucks overall, but stay tuned to see it all put together and see if the Gundam itself makes up for it. Gundam.tk.